Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. We come to you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here exclusively on talkradio.nyc. We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture, all the fun stuff you love to talk about. I'm your host, Michael Dolce, alongside my co-host, Mr. Am I going to say it?
I thought so.
Am I going to say it?
You're not going to say it.
Lord of the Radio?
Yeah.
All right, I went with Lord of the Radio this week. Mr. Hassan Godwin next
this
to me.
week. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And I was debating. Debating on that.
Jerk face.
We have a great show for you tonight. I want to give all of our Facebook people out there, you might have seen some messages right before we went on live. So if you are checking us out on Facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire, that we had a video. We were like this close to getting Hassan on camera tonight. We had some technical difficulties. We will be... I can almost guarantee you next week is going to be the week.
Yeah, I'd like to say that it was him who decided not to. I didn't protest or have any kind of issue with it. So.
You know what? Because I wasn't sure of the video quality.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ruin our viewers. I didn't want to throw them off. I wanted them to come here and enjoy a show that we love and enjoy it in the same kind of quality that they get every week. So that was my...
Yeah. Because that's what they're talking about every week is quality control.
I just hope they're talking about us. I mean, let's just be honest here. All right, we have a great show tonight. We got Johnny Wellens from Atomic Geekdom. He's going to come on. The whole theme of this episode, it's the whole theme of the month. I mean, it's a month-long theme. We got a great guest coming up next week. We're doing our 2018 preview. And before the mind of Last Jedi, or the remnants of Last Jedi leaves our mind, I figured today was a good day to debate the future of the Star Wars franchise. Last Jedi is a hot button topic. A lot of haters out there, a lot of lovers out there. No one's really too indifferent about it.
Are you going to call the critics of that movie haters, though? Is that a fair assessment?
It's not, because I am one, but I'm not a hater. I'm not hating on it to hate. All right, the connotation.
That's why
yes.
I'm asking.
No, and I'm actually out loud processing what you asked, because I think what you just brought up is actually even in and of itself a great.
Because calling us haters immediately puts us in a position of weakness.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Yes, it does.
It does back us in a corner. I agree. I agree. There's something.
It paints us in a portrait of intolerance.
It definitely paints us in a portrait of that we are not. That we have an agenda.
Yes.
For not liking it.
Should not have an agenda. Agendas are bad, apparently.
Agendas are bad. Are bad.
Not really.
Points are good. Themes are good.
Agendas aren't bad.
Lessons are good.
When your doctor has a medical agenda, a medical regimen, that's not a bad thing.
No, that's still not good.
No, that's not bad. If he's helping you to recover and his agenda is a therapeutic process, that's not bad.
Really?
Yeah. Right? Especially if you recover.
I beg to differ.
I'm just applying some nuance to the word agenda.
Are you? Is that what you're doing?
The word agenda.
Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I'm trying to help.
You're trying to shine agenda in a good light.
Agenda isn't a good light. You're putting a negative connotation on agenda.
Yes. So you're trying to make that a positive.
No, I'm just trying to explain to you that you're wrong about agenda.
Okay.
In general.
All right. I'm never wrong, as all of our loyal viewers have come to realize.
Except for the times when you are.
Unfortunately, they're never documented, nor on video or
sadly,
audio.
for 2 years straight, they're documented.
They are possibly not on iTunes. iTunes.com/Secrets of the Sire. Go to Facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. And you can stream us live. You can check out our videos. YouTube.com. We're going to be doing some really cool things on YouTube, because I figured out some really cool tricks. And yeah, it's going to be some good stuff. I mean, some good stuff coming up in the next few weeks.
All right.
Quick question for you, Hassan, before we jump into The Last Jedi and the Star Wars Legacy, which I know you are dying to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know about dying.
Question for you. I saw some podcasts that are like, they do it in seasons. This would technically be our season 3. Next week is actually the anniversary of when the show started.
Really?
We just did a 100-episode anniversary, so we're not going to blow it out. Sorry, Rick Marshall, who's our guest next week. You're not part of a blowout show.
No, he's not. No.
Do you favor seasons, or do you favor episodes? I like the long-running episodes. I'm like the comic book guy. I don't need them to keep rebooting the comic book series to number 1. Just keep it I don't care that Action Comics is 1,000 comics long. That gives me something like a history I want to go check out.
Well, we could do seasons because we're like broadcast media, as opposed to print media. Print media, when they do seasons, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's kind of stupid. Like, even when, like, Buffy came back and it was a comic book and it was, like, Buffy season 7 or season 8.
Yeah.
I think it was season 8, right?
Yeah.
Right? And I get why they did it, because they were saying this is a direct continuation of the television show, which was ended, right?
Yep.
But it's still stupid because it's a comic book.
I guess so.
Does that mean that each episode is an issue? Or each issue is an episode?
Yes.
In which case... there's a long season.
Yes. 38 episodes can be a season.
Or short season because only 12 comics per year.
Yes.
So, that's pretty bad.
Well,
I think it's bad.
That's if you're connotating a year with a season.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If it's not, unless a season lasts more than a year, that's ridiculous.
Not necessarily.
So it's 2 years. 2 years to get through one season.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You have none of that.
Yeah, why even bother?
All right, so we're going to continue with episodes.
Just shut up about the seasons.
We're going to continue with episodes. We're going to continue. We are episode 102.
No, we're in season 3. What's the matter with you?
I'm totally confused.
We're broadcast. I just said we're all right.
If you guys are fans of the show, if you listen to us on iHeartRadio, go look up Secrets of the Sire. Go up SoundCloud / Secrets of the Sire, iTunes. Go look at the banner, even though it's backwards tonight, but it won't be backwards next week. It's very exciting.
You have to turn the thing around.
No, I know. No, we're gonna trust me. We're gonna be in good shape next week.
Turn the thing around.
New cameras next week. I'm telling you, big changes coming. Big changes coming.
So that the banner.
You guys realize that we're not huge fans of Last Jedi.
Down.
Sam Leibowitz, our producer, who is completely unbiased to all this stuff, not a fan of the movie. Like, we just weren't a fan of the movie.
He came in and he was hating, man. He took a swing at us.
Yeah, no.
We mentioned Last Jedi. He started swinging at us.
It's just like a Tourette's rage.
Yeah, I think it was. It was totally bad.
Has Sam secretly been like in a cult the last 3 months?
Well,
and that's his trigger word?
I don't want to say anything over the air.
Like all of a sudden,
Last Jedi.
That's like Reggie Jackson in Naked Gun. Yeah, he's like, I must kill the Queen. Last Jedi, I must kill Hassan.
I must kill the Queen. It's true, though. Last Jedi, no.
Oh man! We've already got people chiming in on the Star Wars stuff.
Oh really?
So all right. So anyway, this is what I was trying to set up. We're not fans of the movie. Scott Fortier, who is online as well too, didn't really like it either. We appreciate that, and we'll get into his actual comments as well too. It's funny how this resonates though, right? I was at a one-year-old's birthday party, and there was a section of the room was a bunch of dads debating how bad the movie was. And then you had those people that are like, no, I thought it was great. Like, I thought this was cool. Those people are
idiots.
And this was great. And that was... way to be impartial.
I thought we were haters. Wait,
no, we are haters. We are haters. Right. But I'm just saying that...
I'm just trying to be hating.
I'm just saying, though, that's the level... Like, the water cooler talk
is
man,
everybody
so
downplays it. Everybody downplays how important that stuff is. Mm-hmm. That's like the Kennedys. Star Wars is like... It's got a place like the... It's like the Kennedys. It's like the Apollo... the moon landing.
Yes.
It's seminal for Americana.
Yes.
And... people don't really give it a thought until you start messing with it. And then they're like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to touch that rock. That rock is sacred, you know? And, you move that rock has been sitting there since Solomon walked the earth and all that other stuff. So you can't do it.
Right.
And poor Disney is finding it out.
Yeah. Well, but are they? So that's what
those jerks.
Oh, man. Like, segues are like, they're like milk from an alien for us. We just love it.
Only when we do it well.
I want to give a little...
Green milk.
I want to give... Scott Forty actually said the blue milk. I want to give a little opposite viewpoint, right? So I got this from Forbes. Let's not pretend Star Wars The Last Jedi isn't a huge hit. Star Wars The Last Jedi earned $23.6 million in its fourth weekend of release. That's almost identical to the 55% drop and the $22 million fourth weekend of Rogue One. We can debate as to whether the film should be doing better, but either Jumanji is doing real damage, or The Last Jedi is proving relatively resilient in the face of an unexpected 1,600-pound gorilla. I would argue the answer is a little bit of both.
Probably.
He talks about the fact that it's critically acclaimed, and look, it is. The critics gave it, a huge score, like a 94%.
Yeah, they were all lying.
Absolutely.
Those critics were liars.
Well, I don't know if
liars.
they're liars. I mean,
Critics are
we can talk
morons.
about the feminist agenda behind it. Again, the word agenda. We'll keep going back to that one. We
Yeah,
can
that's
talk
not really
about
my thing.
We
You can talk about that.
Well, there's definitely reviews that cite that the
yeah.
reason that they love it is that it is because it highlights women in positions of power.
Right, yeah.
Men are subjugated to not it scores through the Bechdel test and things like that. And look, those are legitimate reasons to look at a movie.
Red
and
Tails
go,
was all about the African American pilots in World War II, and that still sucked. It was a sucky movie. So it was great that movie existed and someone actually made it, but it was not a good movie, and that's the bottom line.
So this article also goes on.
Sadly, also produced by George Lucas.
Oh, that's true, actually. This article goes on and says, I'll argue that Last Jedi is performing about as well as Force Awakens was expected to perform. As for the drop, it'll be a bit bigger than the 27% fall for Avengers Age of Ultron, which
It's already had a 30% drop.
Which led to cries of superhero fatigue and whatnot. So nearly 3 years after Age of Ultron spawned a bunch of Marvel is in peril blog posts. Is there anyone who thinks Avengers Infinity War is not in any real danger of not making most, if not all, the money? So that's kind of where we're at right now.
I don't think Infinity Wars is in any kind of danger because it is.
No. But I guess we're talking about, like, he's using that as an analogy. We don't think Avengers Infinity War is in
But
any
Avengers
any real
Infinity
trouble,
War
right?
is not in danger because basically it'll make its money even if it's not good, and it will have a drop, but it will make it's earned it because it's done so much legwork to build up to it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like they're just dropping this and they're like, "Hey, everybody, go see it." It's a baked-in blockbuster. Go see it. You know, it's not. We've been waiting for this for almost 8 years. So, it even if it would have to be horrible, and those Marvel movies aren't really that bad.
Yeah.
Sadly, or fortunately, depending on what your perspective is.
Well, it says here, maybe Episode 9 will pull a Divergent, but for the moment, and considering we have a well-reviewed and relatively well-received film that will make around 5 to 6 times its production budget in theatrical alone, this franchise doesn't need to be saved quite yet. The fun, but somewhat inessential question is whether the reaction to Last Jedi will help or hurt Solo, which makes it a very interesting.
When a film at this caliber is not great or considered not great, so we'll be fair to it.
Sure.
That film is not the one that suffers. It's always the follow-up that suffers,
So you think
basically,
Solo won't suffer, but Episode 9 will?
Solo might suffer.
Do you think Solo will
Solo's
suffer?
way too close to it, so people haven't even gotten over it yet.
Okay, all right. So when we come back, we're gonna jump into Solo because I actually think Solo will save the Star Wars franchise.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential. Live life your way on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo! What's that?
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
That might have been the best thing you've ever said, period. Like on the show. I mean, we're not even talking about like your opinions, they're okay. Segue, boom.
Yeah.
That's where the money's made, my man.
You know what? Now I'm going to end every sentence with boom. Boom. That's what I do.
Exactly.
Boom.
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 All right. That's enough. That's old already. This show doesn't work when we agree.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the
I feel
Sire.
strangely vindicated.
Well, ironically, I thought there'd be some technical difficulties.
At least
tonight
we didn't
if
go
we
into
went
like
with
a
the
rant
new-
about these worms still listen to anything we say.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
These terrible scum who listen to us every
Terrible.
week.
It's terrible. No, well, they're very nice people. Actually.
Not like we did
What are
last
you
week,
talking about?
you know, when we talked about all of them, especially James.
Oh, this will be the end of season 2. No, so we are coming to you live Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. I think that pretty much fixed the audio feed because now I can hear myself completely in the mic. I'm sure it's going to be out there in the general public as well too.
I blame Sam.
Yeah, well, no, this was not my fault. This was not my fault. We're gonna do some exciting camera.
The only thing we know for certain
stuff.
is it's not my fault because I didn't touch it.
You didn't do nothing.
No.
You put the
I
banner
didn't.
up today.
I put the banner up.
Which is good.
I'm very proud of
It was very well
myself.
done. It was very well done.
What? No.
Yeah. No,
Terrible.
Very
It
exciting.
was very nice of them to tell us, though, right? Because we could have just kept going on and on about, terrible things.
Scott Fortier says, there are no secrets left in the Sire. This is very true, actually.
There's plenty of secrets.
I can recite some commercials if people want. For things that I don't
No,
actually...
yeah, but don't.
Go to MikeBooks.com and purchase the Sire, issues 1 through 10, and the Undone. It's very good. They're
Do
all
as
good
we
reading.
tell you.
Do as you
You're told.
Go pick up the Mainstream coming out in previews in a couple of weeks, too.
So now that they know that you're lying, and you didn't say that.
I did say I'm not lying. I'm going to
Parsing.
embellish. I was embellishing a point that I was going to make.
You think Han Solo's going to save it?
Rogue One. Let's take Rogue One. Let's take the end of Rogue One away, right? Let's take out the cool Darth Vader sequence. Let's take out the cool, sorry, spoilers, Carrie Fisher cameo.
I don't know if that was all that cool.
At the end. I thought it was an amazing way to end it, right? Did you think it was Sam's shaking in agreement?
It was a great idea, but she kind of creeped me out. It was
okay,
kinda,
fine, but it's a great
creepy.
idea. It was a surprise. It was something.
Yeah.
If we take away the fact that Rogue One answered a question we didn't even ask when we watch episode 3 to episode 4, which is, where does this take place in the chronology?
Right.
Oh my God, it takes place literally right before episode 4. Mm-hmm. Take all that stuff out. Is it a good movie? Is it as good as we think it's going to be?
I think so. Personally,
Like from a movie standpoint,
yeah,
because
personally.
Tom Hutchinson, who may or may not be on the feed today, he brought up a point at one point, and he said, I'm trying to rewatch Rogue One, and now that the surprise of the end is kind of over, he has a hard time getting through it. And that can happen with some movies. And I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I think we all, at least in this studio and our guest who's coming up next segment, I think we'll all agree Rogue One is a pretty darn good movie.
Okay.
But do we love it a little bit more because it's connected to something we already know? Is it connected to this story because it gives us added... I would actually argue yes.
Now, if you say we, then no.
Okay.
If you say you, then yeah.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
the general movie-going public.
If we're talking,
You are the absolute opposite.
If we're doing
of the general movie
the
public.
general movie public between the two of us, and I say no and you say yes, then the answer is still no.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'll throw that out.
Because we don't have a consensus, so we can't
throw that out.
percentage-wise.
Yeah, I'm going to throw that out to the audience. Take away the connection to episode 4. Is Rogue One as good a movie as we think it is? Or is it because it ties so directly into the story, which our issue with Last Jedi was Last Jedi completely throws the story out the window.
That's not my main issue.
Okay, that's an issue with it.
Definitely
right? That is an issue
yes.
with it. Is Rogue One is good? Now, the question then becomes, okay, Solo coming out, if the answer to the question that people, that I just posed is, you know what, I liked Rogue One more because it tied into this past chronology that I know and love, then Solo is going to save the franchise.
That's a possibility.
In the sense because it is connected. You are learning about Lando and Han Solo before you get to see him in Episode 4. Presumably, I mean, what is there, 30? Or how old was Luke in Episode 4? Was he 18? Was he
19?
Is he 19 years old? So presumably, we are getting another piece of the puzzle between Episode 3 and Episode 4 that takes place within the realm of Darth Vader, that takes place within the realm of what we know. Anakin Skywalker is burnt to a crisp. Obi-Wan is in hiding. Yoda is in hiding. Like, we know all this stuff.
Right.
I'm not saying they're gonna necessarily bring that out, but they can. And they can give us little Easter eggs, and they can give us little things. Presumably, Han Solo's what? Harrison Ford was 35 when he made the movie originally, or around in his mid-30s. Was Han Solo around 35, would you say? Or was he 30? Was he 28?
I don't know. They never really go into it.
They don't go into detail, but
30.
you figure, theoretically speaking, a young Han Solo movie could take place immediately after the prequels, could take place right before Episode 4.
He was about 10 during the prequels.
He was about, but when Anakin becomes Darth Vader, if there's only a 19-year separation.
Yeah.
So if he's 10, so, all right. Yeah. So then we're presuming he's 28, 29 then, is what you're saying. In Episode 4. You're getting this chunk of history. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to walk away. And again, I use you not in the you sense because you have a contrarian opinion to that. But
no, I don't. It's not necessarily contrarian. It does have the opportunity, just like Rogue One had an opportunity that no one believed in until they actually saw it. And it has a potential to do a lot of wonderful things.
Sure.
And it will be pulling on nostalgia strings. It does, unfortunately, unlike Rogue One, which followed The Force Awakens, which was a big boost for everything. It's following The Last Jedi, which is not such a big boost for it, in spite of how critically acclaimed and financially successful the film was. And it also has the virtue or the lack of virtue of not actually having Harrison Ford in the lead role.
Right.
I think if Harrison Ford was there...
Very true.
So now this guy's going to have to compete with a legend. It's going to be Luke all over again, because if they don't treat this correctly and this kid doesn't pull it off, it will be another violation of character. And then it could potentially be a disaster.
From sci-fi.com, while The Force Awakens was a record setter and Rogue One and Last Jedi topped the box office upon release, one film business expert thinks this trend has a decent chance of ending with the Han Solo spin-off. Coming on May 23rd this year, Ron Howard's Solo has had zero marketing. We've neither seen nor heard anything about the film. I don't think that's as
it's not as
because
foreboding.
Last Jedi actually, all of a sudden, boom, everyone was there and everyone was watching it. So I'm not that concerned with that. But he says, besides some unconfirmed images, may or may not leaked, and according to Forbes, that's a bad sign. Comparing the campaign to the Ghostbusters reboot, along with flops Jonah Hex and Dark Shadows, box office expert Scott Mendelsohn, that guy, thinks that Solo is the first Star Wars film that isn't automatically assumed to land first place in the year's earning.
There's also the very tangible phenomenon of trend setting, where everyone's deciding it's going to trend badly, and then it becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. I think the DCEU...
With reason though, right? I mean, they did fire the directors in this. There was that. Well,
I'm just saying, but that there is an aspect of gatekeeperism where everyone has now, the narrative has changed. And they were saying that the backlash that Disney has suffered for the Last Jedi, and then the pushback that they had about it was all bots on Rotten Tomatoes and all that stuff was damage control, so that it wouldn't monetize the narrative that it was bad. And then, so now all of a sudden these clickbait sites trying to make money will pop up saying this is horrible, this is horrible, which is basically what they're saying happened with Justice League.
Right.
So I mean, there's that trend is real. That trend does damage. And if that trends badly, if Disney hasn't done the damage control, and if that movie is lacking in any way, I think that movie has very little margin for error.
So Donald Glover, who stars as Lando, Just see, we're doing plus minus plus here. I like this because then our next guest is going to be plus and we're going to be super minus, so it'll be really good. Donald Glover claims Solo does something no Star Wars film has ever done before. Not only is the Millennium, sorry, true,
has Donald Glover in it.
You can't argue with that. Speaking of which, I'm more of a keymaster kind of guy rather than a gatekeeper kind of guy. Not only is the Millennium Falcon the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, but she's also one of the most recognizable ships. We've seen it pull off a variety of maneuvers, yet according to Solo, a Star Wars story star... Wow, say that 5 times fast.
No, I won't.
Solo, a Star Wars story star...
No,
I can't even say it once.
Don't do it.
I can't even say it once.
You set yourself up for
that. We set ourselves up for failure a lot on this show.
Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed that. Tee it up.
It's always important to point it out when it happens, though, because it happens so frequently.
Knock it down. The new film will show the ship in a way no other movie has, simply by giving us a shot that begins outside the ship and follows the character inside.
Oh, well, then that's worth my $30 right there.
I remember... Really? What movie theater are you going to?
It's pretty much $30 once you've paid to see the movie, when you paid for your friend or whoever's going with you to see the movie, and you eat, and you whatever.
So you're saying this is a date movie, then?
Well, of course.
Oh, okay.
How else do you go to movies?
So you're automatically bringing someone and you're paying for them.
Once you're out $50, you're going to be like, whoa, that CG intro was
Are you going to get laid after?
Huh?
Are you going to get laid?
That's none of your business.
Well, I'm just saying.
It all depends on the movie.
That $50
If the movie sucks, I'm not getting laid.
I was going to say, that $50, that's good.
It's a Han Solo movie,
pretty
which means that movie would have been all my idea. In which case, she's pissed now because her entire evening's ruined.
That's
and
it.
I'll have to put up with that.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I'll be doubly pissed.
You're not getting anything then. No.
Look, we're not.
That $50 seems like $500.
I'm not comfortable with this line of questioning.
If it does not end in something fortuitous for you.
Move on, damn you.
I remember being on set a few times, and Ron Howard was like,
Were you getting laid while
I
you were
want
on
to
set?"
follow you onto the Millennium Falcon and do this thing. Glover shared
Wow,
at a
that's
press conference. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen the outside go
creepy.
into the inside. See, there's some suggestive
Oh,
talk right
wow.
there. Yeah, no
What's
one's
happening?
ever done that
What's
shit.
going on?
Oh, don't worry. We get to talking about the Stanley sex allegations
I don't want to
later
talk
on in the
about
show,
any of
too.
this
It's
stuff
gonna be
anymore.
very exciting.
It's hurtful.
As a fan, I was like, I was really excited. I know there's been a lot of talk in the press about this movie, but for me, anyway, it was a dream, and also it looks really cool to me.
Oh, well. And he's in it, so he's got no bias.
No.
Right? He's a completely innocent source
Let me
of
pose this.
information
Let me
there.
pose this question before we debate the Star Wars universe with Johnny Wellens next segment. Does Ron Howard give you any sense of, safety, relief, like
Ron Howard is an excellent director.
you gotta figure it's not.
I've liked
gonna
almost
be a
every
piece of
movie he's
crap.
ever made.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
The problem is Star Wars could be bigger than him. Star Wars actually became bigger than George Lucas.
Yeah.
And he invented it. So that does not necessarily mean that we're safe.
All right. Well, I will pose this question to you then, and we'll answer it when we come back. Though,
Yes.
is it okay if this movie is just good? When we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you a curious person, always asking questions? Do you desire to be in the know? I'm your host, Antonia, of the show So Now You Know. Join me as I attempt to satisfy your curiosity. Listen live Tuesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. weekly at talkradio.nyc.
If you have an interest in marijuana, you want to know about marijuana, law, policy, and culture, then feel free to join me, Joseph A. Bondi, every Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning on my show In the Know 420 on TalkingAlternative.com.
Legalize the herb to continue to resist the passage of this necessary legislation.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
love the emotional affairs.
That's awesome.
I'm having an emotional affair with you
I have
every
emotional
week.
affairs all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't think that was an actual insult to other people, but
well, you're not
being.
cheating on somebody.
Well,
Still
if you
have-
can do that emotionally, I'm cheating on you right now.
This is
because
true.
I'm thinking about someone else.
You're thinking about Peter. Hi, Peter.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
We didn't reveal any secrets.
Technical difficulties or not, we
that
do this.
commercial break.
I
cannot wait to listen to this later.
There are no technical difficulties on the iTunes page. So go
okay.
type in Secrets of the Sire. You can download all our podcasts. Please, if you do, please subscribe. Leave a review. You guys love our show on
Or
Facebook,
don't.
and we really
If you
do
don't
appreciate
like me,
it.
Don't leave a review.
Leave a review for
when
Hassan,
those
too.
happen. No,
Reviews
yeah.
actually really tremendously help us, so please help us, and we'll continue doing this. That's
Please
kinda how it
tremendously
goes.
help us.
It's nice.
Agreed.
SoundCloud, go to SoundCloud, Secrets of the Sire, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher. Like, we're on every podcasting app imaginable. So keep just supporting us, and we do love that you join us. Joining us now is a member of the Atomic Geekdom podcast. He's also got his own podcast with his pal Randy, and the reason I say that is it's called Just Two Pals.
That's
Mr. Johnny Wellens, how you doing, sir?
Hey, Mike. Hey, doing all right, man. How are you?
All right, you're with Mike and Hassan. We are debating the Star Wars universe, the future of it. Now, before we kind of get into the future of it, we actually kind of want to talk about the past of it, right? We're not big fans of Last Jedi. We're just not. You know that. You've listened to some of our episodes. You've come prepared. You are a big fan of Last Jedi. Give us, and Hassan will keep silent. He will bite his tongue if he has to.
Oh, no.
Give me your
promises.
rundown as to what you found to be like the positive takeaway from the movie.
Yes. Why are you wrong?
What reasons could I possibly have for liking a bad movie? You're asking.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so first and foremost, I went into this movie with expectations. I expected to get answers on such and such. I expected, such and such events to happen, and it completely flipped those expectations on their head almost immediately, which was something I enjoyed because I didn't expect it. And then at that point, as I'm watching the movie, then I have no idea what's going to happen, and I really enjoy that about this Star Wars movie, whereas opposed to like The Force Awakens, it was a like by the numbers Star Wars movie, which is fine, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But for me, The Last Jedi just kind of took it a step further and said we're going to tell our own story with the franchise moving forward. The characters, I love the characters. I know there's a lot of controversy about Luke and his portrayal and characterization. He was the best part of the movie for me. I really enjoyed his story. Kylo Ren stuck out to me. I love Poe's, like the advancement of his character. And I know for a lot of people they had issues with the humor. I would say most of the jokes ended up landing for me. Whereas I know a lot of people were complaining about, the lightsaber and what was it, Poe talking to Hux. Is it okay to talk spoilers?
Yeah, go for it. What did he say? What, did we lose him?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
hear you. Yeah, we're just biting our tongues.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna come in with a really cool like you're wrong, but instead it didn't.
Well, no, I was
didn't.
asking, is it okay to talk spoilers? Because I don't want to spoil anything.
No, you can
yet.
spoil it. It's been out.
Okay.
It's been out for quite a while.
Yeah, totally.
spoil it all.
We'll spoil it. We spoiled it away 2 episodes ago and
Yeah,
last
exactly.
episode.
Oh, booyah. Okay.
Yeah.
We spoiled it
So
before it came out. We're terrible people.
That opening joke with Poe and Hux, I really enjoyed that. It kind of harkened back to his introduction to Kylo Ren in the Force
Yeah,
Awakens.
actually-
So overall,
that joke
I
wasn't
enjoyed
bad.
the characters.
Yeah.
I liked the direction that they took with it. I liked. I had some issues. Obviously, it's not a perfect film, but for me, the pros totally outweighed the cons. I had a great time watching it, and it reinvested me in the Star Wars universe. Whereas before, I was going because I was committed to going, and now I'm genuinely like back on board with Star Wars. Like, give me more of stuff I'm not going to see coming.
And you're wrong. It's been great having you on here. It was a terrific time. That's what I was setting up before.
Thanks for having me. I really.
Did you see what I was saying? That's what I was setting up before. Yeah. And now we go. All right.
Well,
I'm real bummed out that it's so controversial. Like that is probably
you're
the
saying
worst thing to come out of any franchise is to find out that the hardcore fans and even casual fans are walking away from this movie saying, "This is Star Wars. I don't like this. It's not for me."
Well, yeah,
And
but everything
I
you
think
said
that's
you liked about it was
justified,
that it wasn't
to
Star
argue
Wars.
With Star Wars fans about why they should like the movie if they just don't. It's a bummer that there's such a divide between the critics and then even the fan base. You know, I've talked to hardcore fans who absolutely love this in the new direction, and I've talked to hardcore fans who are, ready to boycott. They're going to be outside Lucasfilm saying, "No more, we're done."
Doesn't it strike you as odd though that they picked a part 2
or part 8?
Or a part 8 to take this in this a bold new direction. Like shouldn't they have done this
one chapter before
in
the end
episode
of the
7
story
or episode 9? Didn't it feel like an ending? Like you're sitting there saying I can't wait to see where they go next. I'm like, they're done now. I'm good.
No, it is weird. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. It is totally weird, especially when Disney acquired the rights and they started announcing we're going to be doing these side stories, these Rogue Ones and these solo stories. That you would think that would be the area in which they'd employ some of these new, you don't see it coming type stories, a little more of the darker and grittier stuff like we got with Rogue One. It is interesting that they would do it with kind of the main series, taken in such a quote-unquote bold new direction. So it's odd, but I feel like it was either follow in JJ's footsteps, which is more of the same, or you get a director who has a vision for the future and kind of put it in his hands. And whether or not that was the right thing to do, obviously time will tell. For me, it worked. But I can tell you, if it was another JJ movie, I probably would have felt like, it's fine. And that does have me a little bit worried about Episode 9 because I feel like it's just going to wind up being Return of the Jedi.
Hassan is jumping out of his clothes right now.
Oh, no.
I'm all right. Can you tell me exactly what it is that you thought subverted your expectations or was a new direction? Can you define the new direction? Because a lot of people are saying, it's all going in a new direction. And I have my own attitude about what that new direction is, but can you put it into words what exactly the new direction is? How it was different?
Yeah, well, I can say for me, one of the big defining factors in Star Wars so far has been lineage. The Skywalker lineage.
Right, proper storytelling.
Luke in the original trilogy, or Luke and Leia in the original trilogy, and then Anakin in the prequels.
Right.
And then obviously Kylo Ren. The fact that we're getting a kind of cut with Rey and saying no, that this isn't a Luke or main Skywalker story. I don't even know if Ben can be considered a Skywalker at this point because of the lines that he's crossed. So it's a switching of perspectives. I think it feels like a switch from we're not doing Skywalkers. We want to focus on other characters because there are other characters in this universe, and they all don't have to be connected to each other. I think the whole question of who were Rey's parents was driving everyone crazy. They all had expectations. I had expectations. I kept saying, "Oh, she's a Palpatine," or they're gonna throw us off our feet, and they're gonna reveal that she's a Palpatine, but she's a good Palpatine, and yada yada. And then you go in and you find out that she is not connected to anyone, which I guess is still up in the air, but taking the movie for what it is, she's not connected to anyone. And I think that's brilliant. I think that's awesome because it shows that anyone in this universe can be special. You don't have to be a Solo or a Skywalker. I think that's also what the end signifies when you got that kid who, with that whole broom bit. I think that's the Force Awakening to me.
And what makes that exactly different from the other chapters? Because, no one ever said that the Force was exclusive in any particular family. All it is just that this guy is the son of one of the main baddies, and that the guys who were left over from the last regime were going to train him. But it never said that it was exclusive to only this particular character. So what's stopping any character from what was ever stopping any character from ever being a focal point?
Or is it just we haven't seen it yet? But at the same time, I go back to the same question, and this was my big gripe with the film. And Hassan, I actually sent you like a cute little animated video that illustrated it very nicely. J.J. Abrams set up all these great things, and Johnny, you actually you acknowledge it very articulately. J.J. set up these things, and yes, it definitely hit all the Star Wars buttons. There's no question about it. And then Rian Johnson just basically came and just pooped all over it. He's just like, no, we're not going to care about this, and it felt like he was course correcting the series in a part 2. Like, my big thing is, if this is a part 3 and we would have gotten a part 2 that kind of explained all this stuff, man, what an ending, having that kid pick up the broom. What an ending to have Luke sent, skying off. But no, this is part 2. This is supposed to be where our characters are in its greatest peril. Forget all the actual fundamental flaws of the movie. I'm not even going to nitpick the low-speed chase and whether the ship can go the same or can't go the same, or how the bridge opens up, or why we even care about the casino island. And boy,
we're not going to talk about any of that. You're saying?
No, we're not, because it's just not worth it. It's not worth it.
You'll list them, but we won't go into detail.
Yeah, I mean, yes, exactly. We will list all the flaws. I'm being very kind to you right now. We will go.
Way too kind.
Why Finn didn't just sacrifice himself because Rose had to come and stop him, even though they should have just gotten shot right there. But whatever. Those things.
That's not even.
And listening to your guys, and I didn't listen to the episode recently where you guys reviewed it because I didn't want to go in with I've got answers to these questions you guys have, or this is my take on what you guys presented. So I'm going off kind of what I remember when I watched it before. You guys brought up as far as the the chase is dumb. What's up with the animal stuff? I agree. This is not a flawless movie. It's got problems, but few movies are flawless. I don't think you can.
Not that defense.
Don't strive for brilliance. Don't strive for something good.
Not that. It's okay.
Strive for it's okay.
It's okay. It's bad because other things are bad.
Well, okay.
Oh, no. What I'm saying is that if you're going to hold a movie to a standard, then you have to hold all movies to that standard, or all movies in that franchise to that standard. So as far as like some of the complaints, like what's up, like the space stuff, how can bombs fall out of the thing? The Star Wars doesn't acknowledge anything with space. The science of space does not exist in Star Wars.
No, I'm okay with that.
Now, this is what I'm talking about, the flaw in that defense, because it's like, well, traditionally Star Wars doesn't do that, but this movie breaks all the Star Wars traditions. So, like, you can't have it both ways.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. That's true.
You can't say that, like,
some things and
yeah,
hold others accountable.
That's what people have been doing.
All right, so we've got a minute to go. We want to chart the future of Star Wars. What are your predictions for Solo? Is this a course correction? Is this a fall off from Last Jedi thanks to all the controversy? Where do you see Solo heading?
I Solo was kind of in a bad place to begin with. I don't think anybody ever really wanted it. At least nobody really wanted it. There wasn't an outcry for it, and people would have preferred other things. Like there's always talk about that Kenobi and the bounty hunter stuff. And I'm kind of with that group. Why are we getting a Solo story? I've never cared. So I think it was it was problematic to begin with, and then you have all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Firing the directors, bringing a new director on, course correcting the tone and themes of the film. So I'm very nervous about how Solo is going to perform. I do think that The Last Jedi will affect it because there's so much negativity from the general public regarding The Last Jedi. I think at this point, most people are like, I'm done with Star Wars until the ninth one comes out. I'm just done. I need a break. I need to digest what happened. And
very fair.
Go into 9 hoping that J.J. Abrams fixes all the problems I had with
it. Because after Solo, there's not another movie until 9.
I don't know, man. I think...
Yeah, but it's a year later.
It's in trouble.
It's a year later. All right, Johnny, real quick, tell everybody about your podcast and where they can find you. Or don't.
Tell us everything about your podcast and where we can find you.
Or don't. You can find Johnny Wellens and his podcast at Just Two Pals. Go to at Atomic Geekdom. I think we lost our guest, but he was awesome.
Oh no, I'm here. I didn't hear anything from you guys.
Oh, okay, but now you can hear. Okay, tell us about you can get your podcast. Now we lost him again. All right.
I'm here, Mike. I'm here.
It's that night. Tell us about your podcast.
Oh, yeah. So,
there we go.
I'm here. I did it. I have a podcast I do with my buddy Randy. It's called Just Two Pals. We're taking a bit of a hiatus from it at the beginning of the year to reestablish some personal stuff and get the podcast back on track.
You guys aren't pals anymore, are you?
What's that?
And tell us about Atomic Geekdom.
Oh, yeah. So Atomic Geekdom, it's a group of us geeks, and we have a couple of different podcasts on that network. So the main one is the Atomic Geekdom podcast. It's run by a guy, Dave. He's a great dude, and I'm a pretty regular guest on that show. We got a new episode coming out tomorrow where we're talking about the best of 2017. So if you're interested in that, it's on atomicgeekdom.com or iTunes or Google Play or whatever, all that great stuff, and Twitter.
Woo! Johnny, thank you so much for your time. You've been an eloquent and well-articulated guest.
Yeah.
You're wrong, but we love you anyway. When we come back... That's what's the beauty about hosting your own show, is you get to do that. When we come back, say it ain't so? Probably isn't.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth from Nourish the Soul, and on this show, you will uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to having a healthy relationship to food and your body. Join us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
TalkingAlternative.com.
You ever seen like the old men at the Starbucks? Like they have their little like.
I don't go to Starbucks.
Oh, I do. I work at
I'm
Starbucks.
a man.
It's fantastic, and they just have these old men club, and they just sit around and talk about the good old days.
That's why I don't go into Starbucks. It's a creepy sausage fest on caffeine.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. I want to thank Johnny Wellens for fighting through the weird technical difficulties. It's all fun and games here on the show. I mean, no, we
he was kind of awesome.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Met him out in Chicago when I was recording a bunch of the interviews we got last year. I'll be out and about this year too. We're going to be on the move a lot this year. We're going to be doing a lot of cool things. We're going to be podcasting and streaming from a whole bunch of places.
No one's wrong for how they feel about a movie. You know, there's no way you can, however much you love or dislike a film, you're never wrong about it. But you know, so if we give that impression that that's how we feel, that is incorrect.
Alex Acosta asked, has the reaction to the film become a cause for concern for the studio to re-examine its strategy with the property? That's one of the big things.
It has to.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to.
No, but studios are like paper thin.
Yeah.
Right, I mean they feel
have no
everything.
Yeah.
Right, they're not gonna stick to their guns on anything. So no. I mean they're seeing this.
I mean Kathleen Kennedy, who's been doing this for quite a while, you know, she might have the stick to itiveness to just kind of stay with it, but definitely she's going to feel some pressure from somewhere because people are going to panic.
That's the part that really bothers me about about this film, though, too, is there was no strategy. It's clearly a case. No, I mean, look, it's very much a case because in natural storytelling progress, you don't introduce a bunch of questions only to it's crazy. It's one thing to not answer a question. It's another thing to shoot that question down in the middle of a film.
The entire film felt like a first draft. Yeah. Where he conceptualized it. He came up with some really cool ideas and never bothered to flesh any of it out. And he was never asked to.
It really, right. I mean, it really would have helped had they all gotten in a room together and come up with a treatment for all three movies.
The aftermarket memorabilia of him like holding up signs like your Snoke theory sucks and all this stuff. That's not good. That doesn't help the situation.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks they're cheeky and cute and they can get away with that stuff, but nobody respected. Even I didn't.
Right.
Like, even we don't know because we're in brand new territory. Sure. Nobody respects how important this stuff is to other people.
Yeah, and we've talked about it too, and I brought it up before. It feels like every movie now is a meta movie. It's a meta because there's so much pop culture. There's so much, and look, we contribute to it every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
But if you're not meta, then it seems contrite, and it seems like it's not as far-reaching.
I would love to see a genuine. Just tell a story. You don't have to tell a story on top of a story.
There are movies that do that, but we don't pay attention to them anymore because that's not the big stuff.
All right, we do this every week.
Didn't Jodie Foster say something about that, and she got pilloried for having the nerve to say that all this stuff is getting out of hand?
Yes.
So, there it is. I'm sorry.
She's wrong, too. We do this every week.
There you go.
We go spinning the racks, bringing you the most fantastical pop culture news out there.
Spin around, spin around.
Hate this show.
A jovial introduction to a segment that I usually love. We actually talked about maybe starting the show with this, but we've been billing Star Wars all week, and Star Wars is also pretty big news too. So, Marvel creator Stan Lee, 95, is accused of groping nurses and demanding oral sex in the shower at his $20 million Los Angeles home, but says he is a victim of a shakedown. Essentially, there's a nursing company with some young female nurses that have complained about his behavior. It's funny. So before I continue, I'm going to stop right there, right? I'm going to stop with the salacious stuff. Hassan, you posted something. I posted something on the Secrets of the Sire page. And the headline reads, Stan Lee accused of sexual harassment. And Sam, who'd gotten and starts looking at his newsfeed, goes, oh, no, not again, or not him, or him too,
Not Stan Lee too.
That is the result. And I'm gonna come to his defense immediately. That is the result of our clickbait society now, right? The story could have read one of two ways. The story could have read Stan Lee accused of sexual harassment. Look, there's a lawsuit out there, and there's something going on, right? Or there's some things going on with that. 100% accurate information. The other end of the story is they tried to blackmail him, saying they would go to the media with these allegations and try to extort money from him. So the story could have also read Stan Lee, the victim of an extortion campaign. That also is, both are speculative.
Both of them are parsing now.
But both of them are speculative. Every media outlet is going with the, Stan Lee is now one of the named people. And I think it's unfair to a 95-year-old. If you look at a lot of comments on Facebook, people with people who work with elderly and people in their 90s talking about this could be a side effect of dementia. He lost his wife. That was a traumatic event. The fact that he has so many handlers to begin with because he needs that many handlers. The fact that I think your friend Daisy Wells commented on the fact that she worked at Marvel and he's been nothing short of a gentleman for 94 years. So,
well, not exactly 94 years.
Okay.
Because he would have been a baby.
He was a very gentlemanly baby.
Yes.
Very nice. Very polite kid.
That's an amazing
He used to hold the door for his mom.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. They're like, wow, a baby can hold the door.
Even this is not even, if you're soliciting or you're being rude, that doesn't that doesn't go into harassment. Well, that's harassment, but that's not oppression. That's not you using your power to repress someone. It's reprehensible. It's not good behavior.
Right.
You should not do it. But give me a break. And if the guy's 95 years old and he's already diagnosed with dementia, and
I don't know if he is or not.
Well,
but they're saying that
he's close enough. You're 95 years old. You're teetering towards it.
Yeah.
Okay. So and he's in his own house. You give me reports about how when he was 56 or something like that, and he used his powers as an industry to get him somewhere by doing that. Then we'll discuss it. But at 95, when he's in his own home, you just put a whole bunch of guys in there. Okay, leave the ladies out. Yeah. Put a whole bunch of guys in there and move on. This guy's not costing anybody their career. He's not slowing anybody from progressing. He's not demanding sex for a job. He's not using his power like that. So that's how we're gonna have to parse it. We can't. I mean, guys are sleazy. You can't lose your whole livelihood.
That to me, I had a Twitter exchange with somebody, and I said, I said that exact thing. I said, well, first of all, it could be that he was being blackmailed, that this is an extortion scheme. He just had a $70,000.
Those are ifs. Let's just take.
But they're all ifs, though, right?
Yeah, I know. But if we're just going to break it down to what exactly he's accused of, even that in and of itself is not an actionable crime, right? So. It's a non-starter. The story is a non-starter.
Exactly my point. And that's the thing. Every other news outlet now is picking up this news outlet.
That's because capitalism is insanity, and everybody needs to make money off of everything, and everything becomes monetized. So basically, just the same thing as we were saying about Justice League and The Last Jedi. If it becomes monetized, if a narration becomes monetized, they'll use that narration or that narrative, and it'll become clickbaits and stuff like that. So that we're not getting honest information or honest news from anywhere.
No.
We're getting money-making news.
We really aren't, and that's, I think, the bottom line.
Yeah, but I mean, look, that's the life we live,
Well, let's hope this all passes. Next week, we've got Digital Trends. Rick Marshall coming on. He is going to discuss...
I won't be on.
We're gonna shoot. We're gonna. He's very excited to talk to you. You guys have had some really.
He said something today I didn't appreciate.
Oh my god! All right, we're gonna talk TV in 2018. We're gonna continue our run of previewing the year to come in the month of January. Coming up next on TalkRadio.nyc. Again, if you're downloading us on iTunes, this will not be the case. But if you're listening to us live, Larry Sharp, The Governor's House, coming up next.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth from Nourish the Soul, and on the show, you will uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to having a healthy relationship to food and your body. Join us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a curious person, always asking questions? Do you desire to be in the know? I'm your host, Antonia, of the show So Now You Know. Join me as I attempt to satisfy your curiosity. Listen live Tuesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. weekly at talkradio.nyc.
Hey, all you crazy listeners. Looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Talking Alternative.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.